Welcome to Aledius Devils Talk. Here's your host, Enrique Aledius.
The Devils got two much-needed points against the Chicago Blackhawks. This was a game that I thought was pretty close, honestly. When you look at the stat sheet here, 5-3 looked like it was a bit of a runaway with the Devils, but it wasn't. They got that empty net goal in the end. But I think pretty much so the Devils led the entire way, right? And it was a definitely close battle, and I think the Blackhawks kept fighting back, and they kept themselves in it. Once the Devils scored, they got up 2 goals. It was 3-1. They fought back, got back in it 3-2. And, the Devils didn't really have that, I thought, that pull away killer instinct mentality, but they did played pretty well. I thought overall this game, leading from start to finish, they played pretty well. They got up, especially I really like what they did getting into the game, 2 goals up right away. You get 2 goals and from guys like Bastian, and I think the second one was Mercer. I do know Bastian got the first goal, and I have to double check who got that goal, the second goal. Meyer, sorry, it was Timo Meyer. But overall, again, the way they played, I thought these were 2 points you just had to have. It's the Chicago Blackhawks, no offense, but they're a team that they're in the bottom of the standing. So these are 2 points, especially with the Rangers losing in regulation. The Islanders tonight, they lost against Vancouver with a comeback win by Vancouver, but then the Isles lost the other night against the Blue Jackets, and they only got 1 point out of that. So the Devils just have to keep stacking up wins and stacking up points, right? I thought that this game tested the Devils' ability to close out games, right? The last 2 minutes, last 3 minutes, they let in that third goal, so it's 4-3. But look, they got past it. They were able to pull away with a win. I know it doesn't matter who you play against or all that stuff at this point in the season. You just need the 2 points, and they did just that. They got the 2 points. Personally, I feel like I wanted to see more of a dominant game, but overall, look, they got the 2 points, and that's all that matters, right? I think in terms of just who stood out for me in terms of the game today by the Devils, I think you got to look at Dawson Mercer. I think maybe one of his goals was taken away, maybe given to Meyer. Again, that's where I got confused, because I think after the game they credited the goal to Timo, but overall, look, I think he was a big hand in the 2 goals, right? I mean, he also was a hand in the 1 goal against, but I think just for me, the fact that we don't have Jack Hughes playing, it sucks, right? It really sucks. But you gotta have other guys step up. We know Jesper Bratt has stepped up a lot, and I feel like the guys from Timo to Dawson Mercer to Nason. I mean, I know he got his 20th tonight, but on an empty net. But you gotta have guys that can provide scoring, and I've always said this, it's not just about goals and and getting the goals on the stat sheet. It's about generating chances, and that to me is more valuable in terms of what we need from our entire depth on the offense, as opposed to just always having this expectation where, everyone has to score. Andre Palat, that's just not realistic. That's just not going to happen. Not everyone's going to score. But what I don't like is when we don't have our depth guys generating chances, And I thought this game, I really liked it. Look, Palat got a shorthanded goal and he just puts it on net. Great move by Bratt to basically, undercut that the D-man, drop pass it, and then provides a bit of that pick, I guess you could call it, but he opened up the space for Palat to shoot, and again, it's it wasn't even that difficult of a shot. I mean, it was just straightforward, right? There's nothing fancy about that play, and sometimes I feel like the Devils get a little too fancy in how they play, but again, great to see contribution from Andre Palat, great to see goals from Timo, from Mercer, but I do think Mercer had a good game. I thought he's a guy that I think a lot of the Devils fans want to see more from him. They want to see more production, and there was a run he had on last couple of years, or was it 2 years ago, when the Devils broke a record for how many points they got as a franchise. But we need that from him, and personally, I just I feel like this year I haven't seen as much from Mercer as I would have liked. But again, this game could be the start of something, especially as they head into the playoffs. And honestly, so the main takeaway I get from this game, as good as this game was, and I'm not trying to be some negative or cynical. I'm not, right, but I feel like this game should have been a blowout. Just like, and here's why, right? Again, second worst team in the league, maybe, I think, the Blackhawks, but they're down there. They suck, okay? And I wanted to see the Devils come out with a statement, like bit of a statement game of like, hey, like we are a top echelon team. We're a team that is not like they're up there, and I feel like when they play really well, they are a team that is that deserves to be in the top tier, I guess. Not the very top. I mean, only a couple of teams in the league are just, I think, the Capitals and teams like that. But they're a top team. They're a pretty good team. And I feel like when the Devils are playing their game, and I get it, right? Jack Hughes isn't there. Hamilton, Siegenthaler, there's injury. I mean, Markstrom's coming from an injury. I get it. But I just feel like the style or the Devils at their best are a really good team. When they play to their capability, they're a really good team. And the style of play in the playoffs, I just don't see this team like going far. And I hate to say it, like I really do, but I just don't see this team going far when they're letting blown leads. The defensive coverage is terrible. You're letting, the guy, I forgot which game, but Markstrom was in net. I think it was it the Flame? No, it was it was 2 games ago. I'm completely forgetting. The Canucks. I think it was Canucks, and 2 slot shots. Right, like that's just not gonna cut it in the playoffs, right? And when you got teams like the Blackhawks who let Mercer just walk right in and score, or you let there's like double coverage, right? When I think it was Bastian who got that first goal. Like, yeah, against teams like the Blackhawks, that's going to happen. And that's, like that is the way they play. And they're not a great team right now, just being honest. But when you play against the Carolinas and we're going to play against the Jets tonight, those are games that I'm kind of concerned about. But the Devils just have to raise the level of play. And I know everyone, the post game, everyone's like happy about this win and everything. Personally, again, I'm not trying to be a negative dude here and be cynical about any of this, but I just don't see this type of play by the Devils going too far in the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, which I know is fairly secure, but I never want to say that it's 100% until it's over. But yeah, look, I mean, I thought Markstrom played pretty well. I thought he played better in the loss against the Canucks, honestly. I really liked again the depth scoring and the depth play by the offense. I think the offense has been playing actually pretty well. I think our defense, again, you look at what Kovacevic did on that first score or whatever. He drops his feet. You would like to see him hold his feet, play a little bit more positionally. Brendan Dillon, I think also, I think he was the pairing, but puts Kovacevic in a bad position. I think defensively our coverage has just not been good. Flat out, just not been that good, and that is gonna definitely, like Carolina, they're gonna expose the hell out of that in the playoffs if we do meet up with them. But again, like I just think defensively there's major holes in the Devils game. I know there's injuries, but I just think from a standpoint of as we go closer to the playoffs, that's my biggest concern. I think goaltending has been solid from Jake Allen. Markstrom's kind of getting there. And offensively, I'm glad that it's starting to pick up a little bit here. But overall, look, good win. It was a great win. Don't get me wrong. We needed the points. The points were important, especially against the Blackhawks to win it like we did. But I just think there's still holes in the game that I was still concerned with after that game. But I don't know. Like, hopefully this is a jump start and a catalyst for like moving forward and tightening up, because once the playoffs hit, if we make it to the playoffs, I still don't want to say that it's a done deal just yet, right? Because there's still a bunch of games to go. But if we make it to the playoffs, you can always flip the switch, right? Because you look what the Kings did against us years ago, or against the Devils years ago, and they were 8th place, right? You look at the Blues when they won the Cup, they went on a magic run. So you never know. But I think for this game, good win, solid win. They led all the way through. They battled through it. They closed it out, unlike past couple other games, or whatever. But I still want to see them improve their level of play because they can. They can play better. We've seen it this year, regardless of all the injuries. We've seen them play a lot better. So hopefully that's the case. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, glad they won. Big win, big 2 points, and hopefully tonight against the the Jets, they can survive. I mean, I'm kind of nervous for this game, but hopefully they can pull out a win. They do tend to elevate their level sometimes, against good teams this year. They've elevated their level of play, so hopefully that's what happens. But look, that was a good win, and hopefully we'll see them continue on going on a run here. And as we lead into the playoffs, just play better into the playoffs, right? Well, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to Recap. If you have any comments about how the Devils are playing, leave them below.